Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
Je suis Daniel.
This is the Board Game Rundown, and today we're doing a Kickstarter preview of Wine Cellar from 25th Century Games. This is designed by a friend of the show, Andrew Stiles. It plays 1 to 8 players in about 20 minutes, and I would say that 20 minutes is with Teach.
Yeah.
This game is pretty...
And some Mike AP.
Yeah, and some Mike AP.
Well, he has to in order to win.
Oh, wait. Yeah, it didn't help.
Yeah.
Didn't help. But Mike, you know what? You've taught everybody this game, so I'm going to let you
He's a really good teacher.
Explain the rules.
Oh, wow. We're telling me I'm going to teach on the video again.
Cellar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you play Wine Cellar? Everybody is going to get 8 cards. Regardless of player count, the cards in a 4-player game go up to 1 to 36. Everybody gets 8, and then 4 will be left over in the middle. These are multi-use cards, so you are going to bid using the number at the top. We're all going to bid at the same time, place our cards face down, reveal those cards. Whoever has the highest bid gets their choice. And so they would take one of these lovely wine cards over here, and they're going to add it into their wine cellar sideways like so.
Because that's how you stack wine. That's what I've been told, Mike.
That is exactly how you stockpile wine, so that the wine soaks the cork. So then everybody takes their card, and then all of the cards that have been bid with will then go in the middle. And now we have 4 new cards to bid on. So we're going to repeat doing this until everybody has 8 cards in their wine cellar. Before we start, we each will draw 2 of these little client cards that have different scoring bonuses on them. You're going to choose one and you're going to put it face up so everybody knows what you're trying to draft. These are going to give you bonuses for the country of origin for the wine. Also, the type of wine, which is at the top where the cork would be, which is either grape wines or rosés, etc., etc. And so you'll get bonuses from those. There's a whole bunch of client cards here. And so at the end of the game, the main way you are going to score is you are going to end up with a wine collection that's got 8 bottles on it, and I'm just laying these down. But you are going to score at the end of the game all of these starting top to bottom from the 1, then you'll score the 2, the 3, the 4, till you get all the way bottom to the 8. So you're going to add all of those together. As you are adding cards to your collection, they have to touch. So if this is my first card, the second one can go above or it can go below, and then so on and so forth. So the next one can go here or above. So you're using that to your advantage and trying to build the best wine collection. Of course, get as many of your 8s along that diagonal line as you can. You add up all of your points from your wine collection and from your client cards. Most points wins.
See, I was trying to make the least bad wine collection.
Right.
With lining up those 8s. He said best.
Yeah.
Mine was like least bad. Like, let me just not jack this up too much.
Well, and you didn't even pull off that.
I came in second.
Oh, dang it. Okay.
I found too frequently that I was getting a really good lineup of cards and then scoring terribly on my client
Oh,
card.
sure.
Whereas Dan destroyed us with the one of these clients' cards has a 9 on the country.
No, it's just
No, it was the 9 for
type,
the rosé.
the type
Yeah.
of wine.
And he had like 6
9
bottles of
for each
rosé.
rosé.
and he had no countries that
Yeah.
he could score on.
Yeah, so some of them are just points for the countries, and it's a lot more
Than normal.
And there's some of them are 6 points for one type of wine, and then most of them have something like
Like a
this,
nice little mix.
where it's
Yeah.
2 different types of wines and multiple countries.
Now, again, full disclosure, we are friends with Andrew. He has been on our live stream. We've talked to him about the game, so we had a little bit of a heads up about it. We are excited about this game, and they did send us this prototype to play. But this is not a paid
Paid
video.
gig.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just say I hate the game.
Yeah, straight up.
I don't.
Not only
say
do I
it, though.
hate the game, but I hate the designer too. What a monster.
Used to be friends of the
Yeah.
show.
Former friend of the show.
Yeah, I know.
No, but really though, this is an interesting. I think that we've seen games like this before. It's almost a set collection, tableau building kind of thing, and you're just trying to get the most points. We've seen games do a similar thing like this before. This one does feel completely original, though, and I don't know if it's the theme mixed with the scoring, because that diagonal scoring is so cool. Lining up that diagonal scoring is such a cool scoring system, and yet it's like so obvious, right? Especially when you take in the thematic nature of the vertically stacking the bottles. Doing something like that is like, oh, that's such a simple way to do that, and yet it adds such a complexity to the strategy of the drafting, right?
Right.
And I really like what that adds.
Well, what's even more interesting is that these cards you would think would be like 1 through 8, and they're just in order, right? And 8 through 1, you know, just in order, but they're not.
They're jumbled
because
everywhere.
Andrew is like a wine connoisseur, right? So he knows that different years of different wines are better. You know, if it's aged this long, it's pretty good. If you can wait, though, next year's going to suck. But like 2 more years on top of that, it's going to really be primo.
Right.
All of that is wasted on my...
on your palate?
My peasant level
Me too.
palate.
What is wine?
But
So we can take grapes.
when a mommy grape and a daddy grape get together. But you take this and make it a game, and it's so interesting, and it's really neat to see the theme applied, and it makes so much sense.
Right.
There were definitely times. This is just me. There's definitely times where it's like none of the cards are that great, so it's kind of like I want to go last because I don't even want to
just take what's left over.
Just take what's left over. But you do have a lot of options, right, to score, right, or at least 2 options
Right.
to score. You either the country or
The country,
three,
the
the country, the type of wine,
Right.
or you know maybe that year. So you've got a couple ways to sort of make the best of
Try to mitigate as best you
of
can.
a not optimal situation. But I think everybody's going to have that, except for Dan, who seemed to get every wine he needed every time.
Every time.
Choosing when to bid high and low because of things like there was one time that came up where there were you're bidding on 4 cards and 3 of them were from the same country, and so if you are getting points for that country, you're probably getting a card you need. So just throw your lowest number out or something, right? Like seeing those decisions fall out there, or like there were times for me, right, where neither of my scoring methods are out there, but there was like an 8 in the first slot, which would be huge for me. So then the question is, do I throw my big bet on big bid on just grabbing that 8 to try to secure that? Or do I say, no, I'm missing out on both my scoring methods. I'll just take any card I'm given this time. I'll deal with it and I'll save my bigger bids for when my actual scoring methods come up, right? There is a lot of depth to this bidding system for being such a fast, light game. He did a fantastic job of getting the theme to feed the mechanisms, and maybe vice versa. I haven't looked into that part as hard, the reverse side. But like you were saying, having the years actually matter on wine types, and then for how far they are on here. And I obviously do not have the knowledge on knowing if countries, affect that and everything. Does
Absolutely.
France want certain things more, right? Like that's over my head. But to see the effort put into tying the theme into the mechanisms, I'm very impressed.
I mean, there's so much effort put into it that you just have to almost default
Exactly. I just assume.
that it 1,000,000%
Yeah,
matters.
I mean, you can see that certain wine types do come from certain countries, and of course, Andrew would know the difference and why those wines are specialties in those countries. I also like that it has different types of wines on the side. Like, for example, it's got like Gewürztraminer and the tasting notes actually on the bottle,
Right.
which, by the way, was drawn by Vincent Dutrait. So all of the art in this game is fantastic. The components look great. But yeah, the thematic tied to the mechanics, but that decision space when you're bidding, like, okay, I've got an 8 on a 2 and a 3, so I need an 8 on the 1 and the 4, but the highest I can get is a 6 that I see. Oh, but I'm getting a bonus for that country. That is just so interesting. And the fact that the card you bid with is what you're bidding next time. So maybe if I can get the 4 and the card I bid with has the 8 on the 5, so you're planning ahead. So smart. I think it's incredibly clever.
Yeah, that's something that I was going to say. Like, I really think it's interesting how like the one you're bidding with is what's going to become available next
seeding
round.
the market,
right?
right?
So you're like, ooh, I know I need a 5 next turn, so I'm going to make sure I'm going to put one of these good 5s down there so I can bid on it next time. I think that's super interesting, and I really, really appreciate this graphic design, like the layout that it's done. Like, so it has your values, and then you have the 1 through 8 underneath that, so that's small, so you know like what frame it's in. And as you're looking at your tableau, and you're like, okay, I need a 3 because you can only place above or below. So you're like, I need a 3 or I need a 6, and it's like, okay, so I'm looking at the board. I'm like, hey, that 6 is an 8, that 3 is an 8, so I'm gonna take either one of those two. So it makes it super easy to tell which one you're looking at, which one you're trying to go for, without having to like, count them up and then look and count them up. Like just having all that information there so that you can look at the board and know what you're bidding on makes it super easy and helpful.
It does lead into one thing I wanted to bring up. This I don't think we said it yet. This is a pre-production copy. I don't know if we said that, but so some of the component stuff might change. We've heard the cards might be bigger and stuff. So just like be ready for that, because that leads into something Bob was talking about, how great the design is. The countries might need to be a little bigger, so you might run into some stuff with that. Bob is colorblind and he was having some issues with because it's a flag design.
Sure.
So we could see some stuff like that maybe helping the game. Yeah. But again, just overall, this is not really my type of game. I don't dislike them, but I don't like rush out to do it. And we've played it like 5 times now or something, and I've been impressed every time. This is a really cool game.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that this game does really well, and I always appreciate this in games, is the level of accessibility, right? Mm-hmm. So the teach is very fast. The time commitment to play is very short, which then lends itself to, if they had a good time, well, now I understand the rules better, let's play again.
Mm-hmm. Even if you didn't have a great time, you could always just do like, let me try it again and see if I can, now that I have the feel for it.
Right. And then, you have the wine theme, which can appeal to a lot of different types of people and players. Like my sister-in-law loves wine. Just kidding. But she would they would have fun like sitting there and looking at the different types and then going, oh, well, I haven't tried this one. All right. Like, oh, these kind of notes. And the fact that they're all, that's not just thrown on, that's not made up. That's like actual information, not arbitrary flavor text. No pun intended.
Right.
Or
well, it is.
Exactly intended. But
all I'm saying is lemon zest and honeydew sounds really good. However, you can keep the tobacco and plum.
I don't know that I want one that has notes of clay.
Oh,
just very earthy.
It's not just clay though. I mean, there's also raspberry and blood orange.
Okay.
Yeah. I've got a Gewürztraminer over here. I'll be fine.
Gewürztraminer.
Is that a
Taper
German
Hills
wine?
is excellent.
This every word they're saying goes over my head. I don't know anything.
Wait, plum?
Is that white or red?
We have both kinds, red and white.
Would you like it cold or room temperature?
Okay. I may have been. It sounds like I may have been to more wineries than all these guys put together, but I do not consider myself.
I might challenge that.
I've delivered to a lot of wineries, but I've never partaken.
Yeah, I've partaken in a few.
And I like that blind bidding. It does remind me of For Sale, which is one of the best auction filler games I've ever played. Mm-hmm. That is a nod to Andrew and using that as an inspiration, because this is a great bidding game. I have already played this with multiple casual gamers that really enjoyed this. We played it like 2-3 times in a row. Yeah. People are asking to play this multiple times in a row. That is a sign of a great game.
Well, with the easy learning, right? The easy, super easy teach, and again, the very fast play time.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to get this game played a lot.
Yeah. A lot of plays for your buck, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. The only thing would be is if they have cards in a size that you could sleeve, because you'll play this game that much, so you'll wear it
you
out.
probably want to sleeve them? Yeah.
Because
That's an awkward sleeve size.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you play with 8. These go up to, well, you do the
8
math.
players.
64?
Yeah, well, plus 4.
Yeah, plus 4. So 68.
Something like that.
All the cards.
All the cards.
All the cards.
It goes all the way up to
probably 68. These are the ones we did not play with,
Listen,
but there's just one for each number.
We cannot be bothered with counting all of these
That's
cards.
a lot of
we
math.
just play with all of them.
Something that does not matter at all that I kind of wished, because it's such a pretty game, and then you line up all these cards. I wish that they had the art line up on the landscapes to draw us a line. Obviously, they can all change and everything, but just having that line kind of, it would have been very difficult, and it's beautiful, and I don't care at all. It's just while I'm looking at this, I'm just like, oh, I wish it lined up. but
How dare you insult Vincent?
But the picture, I think it's kind of like where the landscape of where it's kind of
100%.
supposed to be. Yeah.
Well, you could still draw it in a way that lines it up, Bob, but it doesn't matter.
Sure,
it does not
Dan.
matter.
And the text on the flag could be a little bigger.
Yeah, that's
the
what I was saying.
country of origin.
Because with the colorblind issue, it is hard to tell the reds and greens, and some of them go to the right, some go to the left, and that's what I was trying to rely on. But one of them is literally the same direction. It's just one has a green side, one has a red side, and I had to look really tiny at the country to figure out what it was. But
Again,
I mean, that's
prototype.
that's pretty minute.
Yeah,
Minute.
literally. Hey-yo. Anybody else have anything that they want to say? I wish you guys would say like one positive thing about it.
Yeah. So anyway, no, if anything that we've said sounds good to you, though, I strongly recommend checking this out because I was very impressed. It's a very fun game.
Well, and here's the thing is, fun fact about Dan, does not love like auction style games.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
Or wine.
Yeah.
No, correct. That's what I was saying. It's not really my kind of thing, and it's just so fun that I don't care. And it's fast.
It's fast.
Which helps.
Yeah.
If you're,
was
if
it
you're
2
not
hours
interested in
later?
the idea, and then it's fast, and you're like, oh, that was fun and fast. Yeah, I'll do it again.
Well, if you have a garbage round, who cares? You're going to be done in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Well, 12.
As for me, I like everything about this game. I like the art and the components. I like the theme. I like that it's easy to table and plays up to 8 players. I really can't think of a single thing I dislike about this game. It is very good, and I strongly recommend
It'd be interesting to try it at 8
I think
players.
the only thing I didn't like was just this one little line there. Everything else is pretty Everything else is pretty
What
good.
were you thinking?
I mean,
Oh, that very
so,
intelligent
in all
grid that outlines
fairness,
when you score?
No, just this little line on the bottle.
in all
right
fairness,
here.
my
That's
score could have been better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Here we go.
he could have played better.
Could have played better.
But he lost. Anyways, guys, so overall, right? Positive.
Yeah.
We recommend this game.
Yeah.
Check it out.
2
If any of this sounds good to you. And if this video was helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, leave us a comment. What's your favorite wine? Or
Yeah.
if you don't drink wine, what's your favorite beverage to have while playing a game?
Right.
I think that's fine.
Why is whiskey the best?
Also true. We do have a Patreon while Dan drinks awkwardly. If you'd like to support the show financially, we do have Patreon. If you'd like to go over there, and if it's not your bag, just liking, subscribing, sharing is really helpful. We
It
do
is.
appreciate that.
Appease that algorithm.
We have a very active Discord. We would love it if you joined us over there and hung out a little bit. And then Mike and I do a live stream every Wednesday night, 8
What's that
p.m.
called?
Eastern Standard Time. Whiskey Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
We should change it to Wine Cellar Wednesday.
Ooh, you could do that maybe one weekend or something.
I can't. I don't know that I can drink wine.
I know I can drink wine.
For the uncultured, he's
that?
been Tim.
I have a drinking
Does
problem.
Bartles and James count?
I don't know. I've had this box here for at least 2
Yeah.
years. It should still be good.
Mad Dog
It's
says.
aged.
I think Mad Dog 2020 says wine.
Is that
on
counted as wine?
Tim's got a box of Winking Owl line. Good
Yeah,
Lord help us.
yeah. All right, guys. For the board game rundown, I've been Tim,
Bob.
That was Mike.
Daniel.
and we're hungover. Have a good one.
And you can say the title's only 3 words.